All right, guys, we are going to be doing chapter 4, people who supply our goods and services, lesson 4, challenges producers face. We worked on pages 120 to 123 earlier. So what we're going to do is we're now going to work on lesson 4. So if you guys can find lesson 4 in your book, let me know what page it's on. It should be on like page 124 or something. Very nice. So we're on page 124, and then what page does it end on? The lesson check, 127. Perfect. So we're on pages 124 to 127 in your history workbook. So you can follow along in your workbook if you have it. Let's go over your vocabulary words first. Weather. What happens in the air at a certain place and time? Drought is a long period where there is not enough rain, land dries up, and plants die. Climate is the usual weather over a long time in one place, and irrigation is the delivery of water from a distant source to fields through pipes. And a source is a place where something can be found, like a source of water, which is your academic vocabulary word. Unlock the big question. I will know how producers meet challenges.
Watching the weather. Farmers want to grow good crops to earn money. It is important for farmers to watch the weather. Weather is what happens in the air at a certain place and time. Bad weather can harm crops. Days may be too hot or cold. Strong winds or hail can shred plants. Frost can freeze and kill plants. Too much rain can drown plants. Not enough rain can cause a drought. The land dries up and plants die. 1. Reading check. Highlight 2 forms of weather that can hurt farmers' crops.
Okay, go ahead and unmute and tell me, what are 2 types of weather that can hurt farms' crops, that can like kill them or shred them or drown them or dry them up?
Being really hot.
Okay, when it's too hot or too cold. Okay, tell me some more.
Or when really strong winds or hail.
This strong winds or hail.
Or flood. Or
Okay, too much
frost.
rain, floods. What else? So I'm highlighting more than 2, but that's okay.
Frost.
Frost, and then one more. I'll give you a hint. It's underlined.
Drought.
A drought. Drought. A drought is when there is not enough rain. Very good. Let's move on.
The land and the climate. Climate is the usual weather over a long time in one place. If the climate is warm and dry, farmers choose crops that grow well with little water. Farmers also have to study the land. They look at water resources. They analyze the kind of soil. If farmers move to a new place, they have to learn about the land. They have to choose crops that will grow well and people will want to buy. 2. Reading check. Main idea and details. Write 2 things a farmer should know before choosing crops.
All right, so what are 2 things a farmer should know before choosing crops? Instead of writing it, I'm going to underline it, okay? So climate is the usual weather over a long period of time in one place. So like the climate in California is usually sunny. So most of the days in California are sunny. If the climate is warm and dry, farmers choose crops that will grow well with little water. Farmers also have to study the land. They look at water resources. They analyze the kind of soil. If farmers move to a new place, they have to learn about the land. They have to choose crops that will grow well and people want to buy. So what are 2 things a farmer should know before choosing crops? Okay, they need to know what the climate is. So they have to study the land. They have to look at water resources. They have to analyze what kind of soil is it. Is it very rich soil? Is it very dry soil? They have to learn about the land. So those are 3 things. And instead of writing it, we're just going to underline or highlight it. Today's going to be a very short lesson. Move on.
Solving problems. Farmers cannot control the weather, but they do have new and old ways to solve problems. If there is not enough rain, they can use irrigation. Irrigation brings water from a distant source to fields through pipes. Lines of trees can be windbreaks. They keep strong winds from blowing away the soil.
We learned about windbreaks. Remember we put, I think we did it in science. Windbreaks are like those long, like we put like those trees up and then it helped make it so that the soil doesn't like wash away or fly away. This is called irrigation. Think of like the sprinkler system. So instead of waiting for rain to come and water these plants or a person to come and pour water, there's these long irrigation like tubes and water fills these up and it's sprayed out to the different crops that the farmer needs to grow.
If there is a freeze, wind machines can keep air moving. Then ice will not form. To stop harmful insects, farmers can use bugs that eat the insects, but not the plants. They can also use plants that insects do not like to eat. 3. Reading check. Write the word that completes the sentence. When rain is scarce, farmers use blank.
Right, when rain, so here's a ladybug. So ladybugs are safe insects and they eat these like insects, like right here, they eat this insect that's actually bad for the plant and it's killing the plant. So ladybugs are actually wonderful creatures. So write the word that completes the sentence. When rain is scarce, farmers use what? So if rain is scarce, if there is not enough rain, they can use what? What is that word? You guys, can you guys not unmute?
Irrigation.
Thank you, irrigation. And instead of writing it, I'm just gonna underline it or highlight it in our book. All right, moving on. Here's our lesson check. Cause and effect. Why do farmers need to watch the weather? Because weather affects their crops. And you can write that in a complete sentence. You can give more information. But the reason why they need to watch the weather is because it can affect their crops. If they're trying to grow some crops, but they're trying to grow like an avocado tree. Avocado trees need lots of water. And if you don't have a lot of water, or it's like you live in the desert and it's very dry and there's never rain, and then it's probably not the best place to grow an avocado tree. You would be spending lots and lots of money to water that avocado tree every day. If you live somewhere that's maybe too wet or too cold or too snowy, then that might kill your crops. So weather affects the crop. So it's very important for farmers to know what the weather is going to be like. That's why some farmers, that's why there's seasonal fruit and vegetables. So like you guys will notice that during the summertime, there's a lot of watermelons at the store. Or during, I think like the springtime, there's a lot of strawberries. So like if you guys have ever like, I remember when I was your age, I used to love going to Mary Callender's. And Mary Callender's had these delicious strawberry pies, but they were seasonal. And what that means is that they only came out during the season when strawberries were fresh, because strawberries, it's hard to grow strawberries all throughout every single season. So they had to wait for the perfect season to grow strawberries. And then that's when the strawberries would grow. And that's when Mary Callender's would buy the strawberries and bake them into these delicious strawberry pies. So if you guys ever go to the store and see something that says seasonal, it usually means that it's meant for that season, that type of weather. Write 3 ways farmers solve problems caused by the weather. So they have irrigation. We talked about irrigation. We talked about, what was that called? The things where you put those trees. Windbreaks. They use windbreaks and they use insects. Or bugs. I guess they use the word bugs. Bugs and insects are the same, but they used irrigation, windbreaks, and they used bugs. All right, next one. Tell a partner what you would look for before starting a farm. So I'm going to put you guys into breakout rooms. This is going to be the last thing. Then we're going to watch a quick little video. And then you guys will go to, and then you guys, the rest of the day is going to be asynchronous work. Okay. So I'm going to put you guys into breakout rooms. In your breakout room with your partners, you're going to have 3 or 4 partners. You're going to talk about what you would look for before starting a farm. Say, Miss Park says, okay, guys, your breakout room is you guys are starting a farm. Where do you want to build your farm? What are you going to look for? What kind of weather do you want? What kind of things do you want to plant? How are you going to prevent, so how are you going to solve the problems caused by the weather? What kind of irrigation system are you going to use? What kind of windbreaks? What kind of bugs? What kind of soil? What kind of water? What are you going to look for before you start your guys' farm? Okay. So talk about it in your breakout rooms. I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes.